ya convention hiyo ama kongamano hilo ambalo linaendelea pale mji wa Mombasa, ambalo ni la 32 IEK Convention la wahandisi wa humu nchini na kutoka pia maeneo mbalimbali.
But I also want to speak to PPPs, private-public partnerships, is also another way to be able to achieve that end goal. This is a kind of a bit new for us in Kenya and perhaps in the region in sub-Saharan Africa. But PPPs do represent a gateway to unlock a lot of resources, financial, technical, intellectual resources. And the call for action then is, since we are aware where we are aware of the constraints that we face, then the question should be, how best can we work out of this? What are the innovative structures that we need to be able to make it happen? Then there was the welfare question asked by the young engineer about minimum stipends and the like. And you know, you made me flash back to when I did my pupillage. During our time, we used to get 2,000 shillings. It's not 1900, it's not too long ago, but we used to get 2,000 shillings. And it was a struggle, you know, the transport, the food, the clothes, where to stay, and all this. But yet, in the olden times, the 1800s, early 1900s, certainly in the law, in England, if you got a pupil master, you were required to pay him or her. So the trends are changing. Lifestyle and the cost of living obviously is going up, and I think that is an issue well deposited with the IEK to be able to examine within their platforms. Then to the welding issue. Indeed, this is just an illustrator of how the gaps between the reality today and the practice that is happening in our institutions is at such a big gap. This is not just in engineering, it's also in the law. I happen to mentor some young lawyers, and once we were discussing a certain case, a locus classicus, a principle setter, and I spoke to it with a lot of confidence, and I noticed some of who were foreign educated look at me and smile. And then they said to me, but you know, Auntie, that case was overturned 3 years ago. That principle no longer holds. So this is the challenge for you and for me, because we are knowledge workers. We want to exert our knowledge and intellect to make our contribution, that our institutions and even ourselves would refresh and be in keeping with the practices of the day. Irregardless of where you are on earth, globally, we should be on the same page.
A round of applause again. We'll need to pick from the lady engineers also. Please, let's also have some questions from you. Let me get one from here, one question, and the last one two from this row and the last row. Can we have a balanced inclusivity? There's a CEO, you want to? Okay, thank you. Let's have engineer. Yes. Engineer Kungu.
Oh,
I'll request that you go straight to the question so that we can save on time.
Well, she's senior, so she goes first.
Thank you very much, Madam Mercy Wanjau, sorry. Wanjau. Engineers Board of Kenya is a very important body for the engineers, and there is a challenge in their funding. It's like cutting somebody's hands and expecting them to hold a djembe to dig. Can you please follow up on that? The financing of Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Wanjao. My name is Ambassador Mahbub Malim, Chairman of the Equalization Fund Advisory Board in the National Treasury, and I'm a consulting engineer. Mine is actually basically just an advice. I've basically done nothing else in my working life other than work for government. It's a very long time. So every time I listen to an official from government, there are things that I know can be done very, very easily. But I still get the feeling that various officers still seem like they're lamenting. And I'm not saying that you are lamenting yourself, but just a feeling that I get. Recently, about a few weeks ago, we had a conference in KICC, chaired by the head of Holy Service, and he was also here with us. And I keep saying that there are things that the head of Holy Service can himself solve at the stroke of a pen. He can just originate a circular or instructions from his office. He could also do a letter for the president to sign as an executive order. So he can do it himself, he can do it with the president's signature, and he can do it through legislation. This can be done in a very, very short time. So a lot of things that we say can be solved very easily. And one of the things that I keep mentioning is freeing the hands of the government-owned enterprises. We talked about how not so well our universities are doing. I served as chairman of the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology Board. I was board chair for 3 years. And that's a very, very strong institution and a very good scientist there. But they need a letter from Ministry of Education to do a lot of things that they can do very easily, number one. Number two, they are never contracted. They can do jobs at quarter the price. What is it in the market? And so many, many things that can be done every day. So as government, if we're serious, and if those of us who hold those offices want really things to be done the way they tell us when they speak, this can be done. And therefore, the question of money is really not the issue of money. There is no money that's enough anywhere in the world, including in America. So it's not about money, it's about decisions that we make, policies that we formulate and we implement, and the speed at which decisions can be made. So you sit in a very privileged position, and congratulations, you're the first occupant of this office. There was an attempt to fill this office before you, and it's the first time that ever Kenyan Parliament has refused to allow somebody to talk about a job in Kenya's history. So congratulations, you must have something what it takes. We hope that now you, with that being the first occupant and hearing the questions we're asking and the advice we're offering, I'm sure this can be done. I also served as permanent secretary in 2 ministries, in the Office of the President and in the Minister of Water and Irrigation during Kibaki's regime, and as Secretary General of IGAD for 11.5 years. So I basically know what I'm talking about. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Engineer Gache.
Good morning. My name is Engineer Jennifer Gache, and I work at the East African community and specifically promoting what you're talking about, value chains, manufacturing, and industrialization. And I'm very happy with your presentation because in your presentation you mentioned industrialization several times, and this is not something that has been common. I think this is quite a new thing. So I thank you so much. You said you're not an engineer, and I noticed you're a lawyer, and I just wanted to point out, in addition to some of the challenges you've raised, there are a lot of legal and regulatory barriers to industrialization, which needs to be tackled. I can give an example. Local content policies. If we train our people in TVET, but they still need to get into the projects and work there. But if we have most of the foreign experts working, then our people can't get the jobs. Things to do with imports. There's a lot of importation in the country. So even if our people manufacture like shoes, yet there are so many second-hand shoes coming into the country, and there are no barriers to that, they still won't be opportunities. Other things like public procurement. We need the government to be serious about procuring locally from the people, from locally produced goods. And other things like tariff, the common external tariffs and all these kind of things. So maybe I would just ask you a question, whether do you normally get involved in the trade talks that take place in Arusha? Because when especially in the sectors of trade and industry, it's very, very easy to notice the barriers that are really blocking the other side of the skills development. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take the last two questions. So just allow us. Yes, you can proceed. This row. Do you have anyone from the last row? Thank you. This should be the last question. You can proceed.
Moderator, Professor Paul Omojo Omaji is my name. I'm the president of the Subsoil Africa Consortium of Universities, which is based at St. Petersburg Mining University in Russia. Madam Wanjao, your presentation was very inspirational. Along the way, you raised a number of issues. One of them is about collaboration. Another one is about making sure that the development of engineering in Kenya will not only stop in Kenya, but it will have a ramification across the continent. What took me to Russia is actually to develop this kind of collaboration that you mentioned. And I want to ask a specific question about the role of political will in the development of not just engineering generally, but also engineering for specific areas, particularly the mining area. I'm glad that you are a lawyer. In 2016, the African Mineral Resources Development Statute was passed by the AU. And it requires 15 ratifications for it to come into effect. Up till the time that we are gathered here, I'm aware that only 4 countries have ratified. So where is the political will? And you are serving as a cabinet secretary in Kenya. I would like to ask how you can galvanize your government to ratify that particular statute and also encourage other African governments to do the same, so that we can have a law that will underpin the sovereignty, if you like, of African governments over their natural resources. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Honsek, we have some online questions too. Thanks, Ms. Wanjao, for the great presentation. You sit in the privileged position. How can you help engineers be incorporated in driving the key engineering-related policies, government appointments, advisory roles, taking the lead in engineering decisions without being gagged or overshadowed? That's the first question.
Thank you. Thank you. We allow the speaker to respond to those questions.
Now that's conformity. Thank you very much for these questions. Indeed, they are questions that would apply even in other sectors. On the issue of funding, I'm very glad that Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury was here. And I'm sure the questions must have been around how he will enable the raising of resources in order to ensure institutions like EBK, the internships, the innovations and all happen. And that I would leave with the IEK to really pursue with the functionality that deals with that. But suffice to say that the leanness of resources is a constraint that is present all over the world. The recession, the global recessionary traits are still presenting, and this is really a call for all of us to really diversify and be very creative in how we will collaborate and partner in order to achieve mutually. I listened to the question around how government can make things change. I agree with you, and I have noted the sentiments that have been raised, because the commitment is really to be able to unlock value and unlock value on time, and even leverage on resources, like the former PS ambassador spoke to the need to leverage on even institutions, academic institutions, as service providers in order to lower the cost and also embed the capacity within ourselves. And that is well taken, so that value chains that are fragile, and there are many, that those value chains would imbibe the knowledge, the experience, and that they would mature, so that we are then able to move up and to move forward in our fight towards manufacturing and industrialization status. Obviously, a lot of issues touch on policy choices, and not making a policy choice is a choice in itself. So we have to be very intentional in the policy choices that government sets, and I invite you to follow the cabinet dispatch. It's present online, to just see the kind of engagements that happen and the kind of decisions that are made, because that is a reflection of political will. And I think the question from Russia was about what is the role of political will. Indeed, without political will, nothing happens. So political will is necessary to underwrite the aspirations, the public policy aspirations of our people, in order to unlock that possibility. And as many of you, I'm sure, work to achieve certain strategic objectives in your industries, we also work to achieve the manifesto commitments. Just like my colleague here from the EAC and other intergovernmental organizations work to achieve the common aspirations of the members of that institution. So the trade talks, very important, perhaps the need to be very robust about them, so that those enduring conversations about tariffs that are injurious, about trade practices that are that impede others or compromise others or push for outcomes that disadvantage others as others get advantage, should minimize, because it will promote a more structured engagement in that space. Now, just going back to the role of political will and the Africa Mining Statute, this is something I have noted and will take up, but I also want to inform you that Kenya's largest growth industry in 2024-25 is mining, because quite a number of policy choices have been made which were not there before, as an unlocker for natural resources, as well as studies, the ground truthing and all that, to be able to identify where they exist. So this comment is well taken, and I'll take it up with my colleague who handles this portfolio. The online question about participation and enablement, I think in my experience, you find that the issue of participation is open, but it's not always taken. The putting up your hand and putting forward your knowledge and input and perspective into an issue is very, very critical. And now the Constitution carries an imperative that to make any decision, any policy choice, it must be open to participation. Let us see those perspectives shared, that input shared, in order to make it happen, because often, even when there is a public policy aspirations, it takes the industry. It takes the industry to make it move. In the early 80s, did you know in Kenya it was illegal to have a fax machine? You're aware? It was illegal because a fax machine, or what was called a Xerox, was seen as an instrument of sabotage. That was then. Now is now. But it took industry growth, innovation, and technologies, and today we have all manner of diverse kind of technologies and possibilities. So let's bring forth our input, our experience, our competencies to input into the choices and directions, policy directions that government want to set, so that we can be as responsive as possible.
Thank you very much. You can stay on stage just for a little while. A round of applause. Those are insights that most of us may have not known. I would like to welcome the Secretariat to bring the gift so that the President can be able to present.
Yeah, thank you. After that, we shall have the young graduate. Please come and take the first photograph with the president and Mheshimiwa, the young graduate. Tafadhali kuja. Yeah, let's all applaud him. Yes, Mheshimiwa, remember the plea, the 10,000 shillings for our interns. Thank you so much. Tafadhali tutete. We, from a mentorship perspective, wanataka bus fare, wanataka pesa ya lunch. Yeah, unaweza pelekea, take it to the president na cabinet waambia kwamba. And then after this, the council for the next photograph. Remain there, Mr. President and Mheshimiwa, the entire council. Then after that, we shall have the international delegates. Then after the international delegates, we shall have the eminent engineers. Then after the eminent engineers, we shall have chairpersons of boards and CEOs. Yes, Mheshimiwa, this is the IEK Council led by the President. Yeah, thank you so much, Council members. Thank you so much. The next photo is international delegates. International delegates, then we have eminent engineers thereafter, then CEOs and boards of chairs. Yes, Mheshimiwa, we have delegates from Ghana, Singapore, Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, Tanzania, Somalia. Yes, every person is, the entire continent and the entire world is here. And Mheshimiwa, this function was sponsored by, among others, Acton. It was also sponsored by Kone. It was also sponsored by Aseshi, being our utility partners. We had Ketraco, Kengen, LG, Kura, among the many collaborators who joined with us. So as you might see, this is actually the place of choice that one would make for this particular week. Thank you so much, international delegates. We have the eminent engineers. Yeah, we continue to celebrate our also international delegates. So FAO, we appreciate you. WFAO, here we have locally represented by Engineer Nathaniel Matalanga. FAO, we have the President-elect is with us here. We appreciate you. We celebrate you. The IEK Future Leaders, we celebrate you. The Women Engineers Chapter, we celebrate you. You make IEK to be what it is. Yeah, we also have in the room the chair of IEK Capital Branch, none other than Engineer Dr. Damaris Oyaro. We celebrate you. We celebrate all the IEK disciplines. We celebrate all the IEK branches. And indeed, we celebrate all those who play a single role or another in making the engineering fraternity what it is. Yes, we would like to have Engineers Board of Kenya take that particular photo. They'll be represented by Engineer Okere and Engineer Grace Onyango. Tafadhali kujeni mbele, mpigwe picha na Madam Masi. Our sponsors are Actom, Aseshi, Kone, and any other such sponsor who is in the room. Please come for the last but not the least photograph. Actom, our utility partners. We have Kone, our utility partners. We have Aseshi, our utility partners. LG, our silver sponsors, come to the front. Yeah. And any other such sponsors, we have EBK, Davis and Chatleaf, NCA, Sika Kenya, Willow, IT, LG, Ketraco, IPRA, Safaricom. If you're in the room, Bamburi Cement, that is your opportunity. So with the conclusion of the photo session, it's now our honor we shall take a break. And in case you realize that there's a reorganization in the program, we request that you kindly bear with us because of the matters and the situations at hand. Otherwise, after this, take a break and then we come back at exactly 11:05. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Tunashukuru sana. Beba salamu za wahandisi hata wakati unapoenda kwenye baraza la mawaziri. Asanti sana. My fellow colleagues, engineers, delegates, and even those who are online, now we take a break. You can take a health break. For those who are online, you may take a health break for 15 minutes. We come back, and for those delegates, we can take a break. Make sure you take time to visit the exhibition booths. Thank you so much. Yeah, 15 minutes back in 11:05, at 11:05.
Before she reached 11, one man can satisfy her. She needs more wood for the fire. Sex price getting higher, and more money she require. Oh, scoring land she desire. So from the prostitution, what she won't retire. Flames and fire, sun is full, burn the flesh, seller and the buyer.
Kwani metulia tu na kunywa chai ya tangawizi nikikula tu mayai. Sina noma nimetulia walai. Mfupa akakuja akisha utakadai. Gai meja nimehadija. Nikajua ukitwa na jina ya ID. Hapa kuna noma moja imelipuka. Ai 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 ai.
We had the 5 trillion budget, Bwana Waziri, that is required to transform this country, and